We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Hello everyone, this is Mr. Laubach. I hope your day is going as well as possible. In this video, I want to go over some of the key aspects of the American home front during World War II. The United States benefited from gearing up its war industries before Pearl Harbor attack ever happened. The New Deal faded away and Roosevelt made peace with big business. Thousands of highly skilled businessmen took jobs in Washington, helping to organize the war effort. Since most continued to be paid by their employers rather than the government, they were referred to as dollar-a-year men. Unemployment ceased to be a problem during the war, with millions of men and women in the military and in factories churning out military equipment and other goods. Unions thrived during the war, gaining membership. Earlier in the war, unions for the most part respected no-strike agreements with the government. From 1943 on, labor unrest grew and strikes increased, especially in the coal industry. To raise money to pay for the enormous expenses of the war, the government increased taxes and widened the tax base. It also revived a practice from World War I and sold war bonds. Movie stars and other celebrities appealed to the public to buy these bonds, raising millions of dollars. Although far better off than European civilians, average Americans sacrificed some luxuries during the war. Products such as gasoline, meat, sugar, and butter were rationed. Families were issued ration cards to regulate their purchases of these goods. Recycling was common during the war. Life changed in other ways as well. People living in the cities had to participate in blackouts where outside lights were turned off and shades were pulled down over windows. This was a defense against the hypothetical enemy air attacks. And along the coast, it helped prevent ships from being silhouetted against the bright city skyline, making them easy targets to predatory submarines. Citizens volunteered to serve as observers and air raid wardens, watching for and ready to react to bombing attacks. Many high schools ran year-round so that classes could end early, allowing students to do war work. Workers often worked extra shifts. These extra shifts were called victory shifts. Popular culture reflected the wartime atmosphere. While many movies aimed to help audiences forget their troubles with comedy, song, dance, and alluring costumed beauties, Hollywood also churned out many patriotic films justifying the war effort and celebrating the achievements of the military. In one such film, the now classic Casablanca in 1942, brilliantly dramatized the self-sacrifice necessary to defeat Nazism. The song White Christmas, written by Irving Berlin and sung by Bing Crosby, became a favorite with GIs because it captured their nostalgia for home. Major League Baseball remained the national pastime during the war, despite many players being drafted. Teams used players who were older or who had been rejected for the military because of physical reasons. During the war, baseball fans could also follow the All-American Girls Baseball League, founded in 1943, which, a league of their own starring Tom Hanks, was set to portray. With millions of men in the military, large numbers of women were needed to replace them in the factory jobs. Rosie the Riveter became the iconic symbol of these wartime working women. Taking a job in a war production plant was seen as a patriotic act. Despite this, most women with children remained at home during the war. Those women who did take jobs in defense industries were often paid less than their male counterparts. Once the war ended, these female workers were encouraged to patriotically give up their jobs and make way for the returning servicemen.